Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of CAREL, I would like to welcome all the attendees to this first roundtable, the first one of several that will be held by CAREL during this Chillventa event. Today we're talking about services, and I would like to spend a brief introduction on why CAREL took the decision to go also for services. Well, as you know, the story of CAREL is based on more or less 50 years ago on the manufacturing of products. And then over the time, this became a proposal based on solution and application, covering all aspects of air conditioning and refrigeration market needs. So today with the internet technology, we are able to empower and force, let me say, these contents for our customers that can, through the connectivity often embedded in the products that CAREL is manufacturing, they can, let me say, bring all their know-how and their expertise in order to bring new values and benefits to their customers. So we start the presentation. And a brief introduction of your speakers today. It's myself, Luca Poldelmengo. Well, I have 25 years experience in the business-to-business sector. I'm in CAREL in more or less more than 10 years now. And I've first held the role of a key account manager in the OEM market, so following basically HVAC manufacturers. And then I joined the IoT and the After Sales and Services department, for which now I'm in charge as a business development manager on digital and on-field services, supporting branches and OEM customers around the world.
Good morning, everyone. Also from my side, I'm Gabriele Putzolu. I'm a colleague of Luca and also responsible for IoT and service business development worldwide and following more the retail market. And I joined CAREL last December. Before I was working since 15 years to support customers in the lighting industry, in the building automation industries, and now joining CAREL in order to support the business develop all the service portfolio around globally.
Okay, thank you, Gabriele.
Yeah, so Luca, yeah, I'll let you now continue. So see you later, and yeah, enjoy your webinar.
Thank you. So we planned a question and answer session at the end of both presentations. So feel free when we are over with the presentation to address your questions, and we will be more than happy to answer to you. So the presentation from single asset to full plant control. Well, we have seen that in the market is covered of different stakeholders and customers, and CAREL with the proposal is covering all these markets and different stakeholders. So we start from manufacturers, as I was telling before, ranging up to big retail chains. So what we're going to see today is a presentation trying to cover all the needs of these different stakeholders in the market. So from the agenda point of view, we will see a single asset solution overview and architecture. Then we will go through the asset control services, where we try to analyze values and benefits. And the smart services, as we call it, is a new approach that, thanks to the new technologies, we are able to deliver to our customers. And then we will go through analytics and machine learning, which are growing, let me say, aspect and values that we are able to bring to customer and that the market is asking in order to have, let me say, the best, to gather the best value from applications. So then with the help of Gabriele, we will go through more or less the same topics, but addressed on multi-asset solutions and applications. So single asset solutions overview. When we are on field, we have units normally working. It doesn't depend on the application. It could be chillers, it could be rooftop, it could be humidification product, it could be any other kind of air conditioning or refrigeration asset. And what we do bring as a technology to enhance connectivity of these products is to bring to the market a new smart gateways, which have specific characteristics. The new Cloud Gate family is one of the most important of our asset and gateways that we have to present in the market. So it guarantees remote access to the unit through a Modbus connection to the field devices. And the models that we have available are Ethernet and Wi-Fi for all, let me say, those cases where you have an internet connection available, as well as, of course, 2G and 4G models in the case that there's no connectivity and you want, in any case, to grant the possibility to reach the cloud. These gateways are able to log up to 300 variables. I would like to make a difference. When we talk about log variables, we're only talking about the information that you want to store in the cloud, of course. But when you are connected in real time to the unit, of course, you have, let me say, a full availability of the information that you need from the unit, of course. And then again, another specific feature is the possibility to connect up to 10 devices via the RS-485 and Modbus communication. And so up to potentially 10 units connected to the same gateway. And this is the part that covers, let me say, the field needs. Then, of course, we need to go on the cloud in order to have an infrastructure that is enabling the possibility to get and have the availability of all the information that we stored. And of course, being the gateway, let me say, to reach the unit when we are remotely, when we say remotely respect to the units. So one very important thing where we have to put attention was the security matters. And in this case, CAREL has, let me say, empowered the cloud platform that we call Terra with best-in-class security levels, so that we are able to grant to our customers the availability, the security, and all it's related to, let me say, well, I missed the English term, sorry, but anyway. So we have cloud, another kind of, let me say, options that you can have is the possibility to have maps and synoptics, which can be fully customizable inside the platform, as well as the possibility to get data and get reports from the cloud, so that you're able to analyze from an R&D perspective how the units are performing, but as well as sending information to your customers in case you have any service level agreement in place with them or things like this. So then of course, there's the last aspect, which is the analytics part, and which is where the game is played right now. So where we can bring the real differentiator values coming from each customer's vertical expertise. Then, of course, the ability to put and to add, in terms of user interface, the right user interface depending on the customers that we want to reach. So the ability to develop a customizable app for end users, as well as a customizable app for service partners that are in the field in order to let me say, perform actions such as configuration, such as commissioning of the unit, and added values that come with the ability of people who have to be on field performing all these actions. When we talk about single asset service offering, we're basically speaking about the market of OEM and small contractors. But when we grow and when we need to address the needs of bigger plants and different kind of users, then we go up to the multi-asset monitoring, where we are able, thanks to smart devices, the local smart devices that are able to, let me say, perform a real local supervision, sorry, of the plant. We're able to perform much more information, to deploy much more information. And so we have, in terms of scalability, devices that are able to, let me say, bring several devices that we later on see with the help of Gabriele. In the same way, all these devices, that in the same way that it was for the single asset services, all these devices are also able to be connected to a cloud environment, which is able to perform other kind of added values for the customers, and several benefits depending on the stakeholders that is playing in the market of retail. In this case, as you can see from the slide, these services are mainly seen for contractor and big retailers. And again, with Gabriele, along with Gabriele, we will be able to have a complete picture of these services in the next session of the presentation. So, introducing the architecture. Well, the architecture is quite simple. Units can be connected dependently on which is the controller that it's embedded in the unit. So, new generation of controllers of CAREL, which is the CPICA family, can enable a native connection to the cloud through the Ethernet port that it's embedded in these controllers. So the Ethernet port is able to be connected to, let me say, a switch or an existing router and go directly to the cloud, since the agent is embedded in the Ethernet port based in the controller. Again, the matter of security rises because we developed a very strong firewall system inside the controllers, which is even certified at NIST level. NIST is a consortium which is bringing all the rules to certify transactions between, you know, assets on field and cloud. And having this level of security is a important guarantee for our customers. But again, of course, this is not the only way we can connect to the cloud. In the case where there's no possibility to connect to an existing network, CAREL is providing, as I was saying in the previous slide, a new generation of gateways, the Cloud Gate family, which is performing a connection through RS485 and Modbus connectivity, and are available in the different model that I was telling in the previous slide. So even in this case, security matter is a priority for CAREL, and so we embedded a firewall to enhance the performance and the security and the data maintenance of these in these devices. And well, again, as told, the ability to bring the right user interface to the right customer, thanks to customizable app that can be remotely connected to the unit. And this is the case of Controller, which is an app that enables the end user to make all of those basic functions that enable the control of the comfort, let me say, then more than off the unit. So you're able to switch on and off the unit. You're able to set some parameters, set some, let me say, scheduling, and of course receive alarm notifications and so on. And then the other level of connectivity via app is the one that we provide to the service partners. So all the people on the field would have the ability to perform further actions such as commissioning, such as configuration of the unit, and all these enabled by connectivity, which is basically based on Wi-Fi or Bluetooth protocols. And so, as I was saying, connectivity embedded in the products, such as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, are enabling the service partner to connect directly to the unit without opening the panel. And so even without approaching physically the unit, thanks to the ability of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to, let me say, permit the communication within a certain range. Okay. Of course, the matters that we were paying attention to was the top security and availability. So I repeat this concept because they are quite important. Firewall devices, SSL certificates, dedicated APN, which is a sort of VPN in the 4G or 2G scenario, HTTPS secure access, and by SLA, over 98 to 80% of availability of the information always online for our customers. So in the next slide, we try to see which are the services that we were able to embed in the cloud, because in this term, the approach of CAREL is the one of a software as a service provider. So what we did basically is what is coming from the history of CAREL, which is trying to condensate our HVAC expertise in air conditioning and refrigeration application and embed this expertise inside the cloud, thanks to some specific and vertical softwares that we let me say, give to the market. And the first one is T-Display, which is basic level, enabling 24/7 remote control and maintenance. So from a remote control room, I'm able to fully control my assets on field. Of course, having the performance of a map view, so a geolocalization enabling me to understand where all my assets are installed. And by displaying different colors, I'm able also to see which is the priority in terms of events that are occurring on the specific assets. So I'm able to understand if there's an urgent alarm to which I have to take attention to, or if the situation is fine. Alarm and management notification, of course, is one of the basic features that we enable. Also in this case, the alarm and management notification is displayed by severity, so by priority. This is to enable the customer to immediately address those cases where a help or an action is needed, so that I'm able to call my service partner if I am the OEM, but as well if I am the service partner myself, I'll be able to have a section dedicated to me so that I'm receiving alarm notification and I'm able to assist all the assets that are under my responsibility. And read and write variables and parameters, of course. So the ability, as I was saying previous slide, to interact with the unit at all levels, both when I'm connected in real time, so that I can set new parameters in order to avoid possible issues occurred in fields, but also trying to gather information on from a historical point of view, thanks to the data historicizations. Plant remote view, well, we enabled the possibility for the customer to be self-sufficient in order to design the maps and synoptics that are enabling the customer to fully recognize the unit when it's on field. This is very important from a branding point of view, of course, because all customers are able to distinguish their application from others. And the nice thing is that there is a unique and free tool for our customers to that is able to let them perform these kind of graphics. So they're able to develop, to do, and to design wherever they need, and to display it and upload it in the cloud. And then the second level of service, which is the service which is the most common used by OEMs, because along with all the features that we just saw about T-Display, is introducing also the ability to have historical data, to perform live and log trends, so to see how units are performing, as well as to create communities. This is a very important feature because it is enabling our OEM not to use the service only on an R&D perspective, let me say, in order to see how units are performing or to intercept any issues on field, but also to, let me say, deliver some responsibilities of these units. So creating as many sub-communities as the OEM needs, and each sub-community could be addressed, could be, let me say, given to a specific service partner who will have the responsibility only on the plans that are included in that specific community. And again, the reporting function, this is as well a very important and powerful tool, because it enables the customer to get the report, to have a schedulable reporting of all the information that are being stored in the cloud. So when I say schedulable, I mean also automatic. So the possibility to just create an offset of variables or parameters that I'm interested into, and being able to send this periodically whenever I need it to any recipient I need to send it to. And of course, a very important feature is also the possibility to have the remote PGD visualization. So this is the terminal that it's inside embedded in our controllers. And so the ability to perform this feature like we were in front of the unit. So remotely, I have the ability to visualize the unit and be virtually on field along with my service partner. This is a very much appreciated feature because most of our OEMs are able to support also service partner or field who are not able to perform a specific action or not able to, you know, go deep into the application. And so the OEM has the ability to be there with a service partner. And of course, the application remote upgrade. This is very important, and this is a value that we bring only for CAREL controllers, of course, because we intimately get into the controller in this case, but it's a very powerful feature because it avoids a lot of cost of people going on field because you're able to perform this feature from remote. Then the last, let me say, new service that it's been developed by CAREL, it's Analytics, able to perform descriptive and preventive logics, and through customizable dashboard. Again, the matter of customization comes along with it because the aim of CAREL was, yes, to build an infrastructure, yes, to build services, but to let all these things be fully customizable for our customers. Okay, as already said, the connectivity of our cloud gate enables the possibility to connect up to 10 devices via wired RS485 and Modbus protocol. And of course, all the apps and the values that we are able to deliver thanks to the apps. So we try now to convert all these features in values and benefit, because the game that we play in the IoT scenario, because IoT, let me say, we could see IoT only as an acronym now. The real game is if we are able to convert all these features that we are able to bring in the market in values and benefits for our customers. So when it comes to values, let me say, what we're able to deliver thanks to all the features that we just saw is, of course, a full availability of the information, the capability for our customer to be reactive, proactive, to make correction through a user-friendly approach, so a user-friendly user interface, and let them bring their know-how inside the services that we embed in the cloud. Of course, being able to, from an analytic perspective, take a look to the data progress, to all the information that have been stored in the cloud, and which are the values that you can get in an R&D perspective coming from the data that you get from the cloud. Of course, dispatching of information and the ability to stand for service level agreements that you can agree with your customers. Operational cost saving, as we were saying, fast decision and understanding, scalability, and of course, thanks to the app, a great comfort and immediacy, having the unit under control directly on your portable device. And these values also bring general benefits, and these are just some of them that we are able to let our customer get thanks to these services. So alarming and risk avoidance, efficiency over time, because when you're able to trace all information of your unit, you're able also to take care of the unit. And so to grant to your customer the ability, thanks to a 24/7 connectivity, to enhance the efficiency over time. Of course, there's an energy saving matter, which is very important for all customers in any market. And travel cost reduction is the one that comes, of course, with the ability to not having the need to go on field. Since you are remotely connected, I can give you some measure about this. our customers are able to avoid more than 30% of cost. They get more than 30% of cost saving thanks to this kind of technology. Of course, you're able to prevent system issues through data mining. We enable customers to get a customized output to describe, analyze, and of course take decisions on through the post-processing of data and through the design of customizable dashboard. And data security and availability, supporting the customer across the entire project is one, of course, basic value, along with the thermodynamic consultancy that CAREL can bring. Earlier on, I was talking about the expertise that for more than 45 years, CAREL of experience, CAREL is able to bring to the customers. And then last but not least, the commission and maintenance service, which enables our customer to stay even more close to the customer during the entire lifetime of the asset. So from our perspective, this is enabling what we call a sort of smart servicing. So since today we were able to bring services like consultancy, installation, commissioning, ordinary maintenance and extraordinary maintenance by getting on field and being close to our customers thanks to our service partners or service engineers. But now the new technologies bring in new values because we are able from remote to grant to our service partner, the multi-community management, to grant remote control and maintenance. And why not introduce concepts like preventive maintenance and prescriptive maintenance that bring in the next topic of this presentation, which is the data processing levels. Today in the market, we're seeing that the data processing levels are divided, let me say, in this growing scale that you see on the screen. So we start from descriptive analytics, which is basically the ability to describe the information that we have through, let me say, a more user-friendly approach, thanks to easy-to-use dashboards that enable us, in any case, to take fast decision. Then there's preventive analytics, which is something behind that, over that, because it helps us understanding what might happen in the future through the data mining of the information. And then we go to the prescriptive analytics. So we enable our asset and the data coming from our asset to propose solution to specific issue occurring on field. And then the proactive analytics, which is the automatic implementation of the proposed actions. So the ability of an asset to be self-sufficient, let me say, in order to take a decision depending on some events occurring on field. By now, what we will see in the next slide is something related to descriptive, preventive, and prescriptive analytics, which is the experience that CAREL has developed so far. Why analytics? Well, because analytics enables in-depth analysis through data post-processing and clustering. The goal is to take decisions in the most convenient and user-friendly way. So again, the topic of being fast and being, let me say, strategic on bringing the good information to the customer is a crucial topic. The outcome, so descriptive, preventive, or prescriptive analysis, as we were saying, a full asset and plans comparison. So one important value that you can get through the ability of having all the plans under control at the same time is that you can make comparison between virtuous and non-virtuous plans. So you're able to understand why a plant is performing better than another, why an asset is performing better than another. And you're able, thanks to the machine learning and the AI algorithm, to create a sort of virtual behaviors of your unit in order to create some baselines on, thanks to which you can compare the full behavior of all the units on field. And then, of course, you're able to suggest or predict actions. And the output is to have automatic and schedulable reporting features that enable you as OEM, you as a service provider or as a contractor, or even as an end user, to get information from all the assets on field. Okay, this is specific example of what we bring as a descriptive and preventive, let me say, information. We call it Alarm Manager. It's a prepared dashboard that all the users that are getting the T-Analytics service will get. So the service is able to detect all the information that are being clustered as alarms and to display them in the most convenient way by severity. So I get the, let me say, the priority on which are the most important alarms and events that are occurring on field. I can have, you know, the prioritization of these alarms that are clustered by, let me say, with an adjustable granularity. So daily, weekly, monthly, or wherever I need. And I'm able at an instance to understand which are the main issues that are occurring on field during the day, during the hours of the day. And so I'm able to go deeper inside to understand why these issues are happening. And this is, let me say, the severity look that we gave to our dashboard. Then there's this description one, which is very important because it enables to analyze and detect the most recurring events, and so to plan specific action to improve the behavior of the unit, thanks to all the alarms displayed by description. So a very fair example is that if I'm able to understand why a specific alarm is occurring more and more in a specific period of the life cycle of my unit, then I'm able to, you know, go a sort of reverse engineering to understand what is happening. What is happening. What's more, I'm able to make sort of relation, thanks to my personal expertise as an OEM or as a service provider, and I'm able to make some relation between the alarms and understand that when two or three information come closely to a sort of level, then the system can react and send me a sort of alert in order to let me perform a preventive action before an issue could happen on field. Okay, so again, still talking about descriptive and preventive, this is an example of chiller analytics. It's what we can offer to our customers in terms of analysis of a chiller applications or of a heat pump application, depends on the cases. And we are able to analyze efficiency by analyzing the performance of the unit, thanks to an algorithm that is able to understand from the information of inlet and outlet temperature which is the performance of the unit. Of course, again, here come inside the topic is to perform specific algorithms that come from the vertical expertise of CAREL in air conditioning and refrigeration application. And of course, we're able to detect also the energy consumption through proper instruments that can be on field, such as e-meters. We are able to give to customers the possibility to immediately view which is consumption of each single asset over time, and why not to analyze expenses or saving of those assets. And then, of course, we're also able to perform information from a maintenance point of view, because we're able to detect running hours let me say, most energiverse components of the unit, which are the compressors. And through this information, we're able to understand how the unit is performing and if it is performing properly, also from the end user point of view, because sometimes we know how the unit should work, but we don't know how our customers are using the unit. And then, of course, the analysis of start and stop. As you know, every manufacturer of compressor is given, let me say, a sort of target from this point of view, in order to let you use and make the compressor perform in the right way. And so by analyzing how many times the compressor is having start and stops, we're able to detect possible wrong behaviors and have the ability to intervene on that. Okay, earlier we were talking about machine learning, and now I want to show you, let me say, a business case that we did in the heat pump field market. So before doing this, we want to introduce slightly the concept of machine learning. Well, we could divide the machine learning concept in two main topics, which is the training and calibration part, which is the part in which we collect data and we learn from data. And so we need to have machine performance on field. We need to detect a lot of information for a specific period of time in order to let the algorithm learn how to create a sort of model of behavior of the unit. And then, of course, there's the validation. So the trained algorithm is tested using the new data as an input and creating what we call a sort of baseline, which will be the reference with which you can, once on field, compare the behavior of all the units. So the business case we're going to see is about the energy, let's say, consumption behavior of the unit. It was made with the heat pump manufacturers. So we were able to, along with the manufacturer, decide which were the most important and strategic information that we had to store and to analyze in order to create the algorithm able to create a necessary output, and so to detect if there were units which were underperforming in respect of their efficiency. So thanks to these algorithms, we were able to create, as I was saying, the baseline. So create a baseline showing which should have been the expected consumption depending on the, let me say, on the working conditions of the unit, which was the effective measured consumption. And when the effective measured consumption was overcoming the threshold, the threshold of the upper and lower bound created by the algorithm, the system is automatically alerting the user through a notification. And so the user can perform the fine tuning in order to, he connects to the unit, he's performing the fine tuning in order to also have back from the system the information that the fine tuning was successful, and the power consumption in this case, because we were considering the efficiency of the unit in terms of power consumption, is now lower than the baseline, so came back to the reference that we created. This can be done not only from a single asset point of view, but this can be done also from a multiple asset point of view. So as I was saying earlier, we are able to see all the profiles of the behaviors of the unit in terms of energy consumption. And if we detect that some units are performing or are underperforming, that we can even copy and paste configuration, most virtuous configuration coming from other units on field, so that you're able to, let me say, create a sort of normalization of the behavior of the units when you're on field. Conclusions. We've seen so far during this presentation that connectivity is, as an active function, is needed for controlling the asset, but the real power of IoT and of data technologies and of digital services hides behind values and benefits that we can bring to our customers and that our customers can bring to the market. So, of course, it was important to underline the power of an infrastructure with built-in and ready-to-use services, because they are facilitators to better perform, react, and take decisions. And then, last but not least, the power of analytics as the real differentiator to bring distinctive know-how and experience as add-on values for market and customers. All these we've seen available at a single asset level, but along with Gabriele, we will see now how we can deliver all these values also at a multiple asset level. So thank you for the attention, and we will see you later on the question and answer session. Thank you very much. I'll leave the word to Gabriele.
Yeah, thank you, Luca. Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. all the services on the single assets you speech. Thank you. So, very, very warm welcome also from my side to all of you. Huh? I would like now to talk about which are all the possibilities that CAREL can offer you as a customers in case you have to manage one, but more, or even more installation in your town, also in your country, and why not also worldwide, why not? So for me, it's to recap a little bit the initial slide that Luca showed you. We are now speaking about red optimize. We are now speaking about system plans, installations, where we have a local intelligence, and this local intelligence is connected, let me say, to a higher cloud environment. What I'm talking about red optimize, the new multi-plant service platform. How does it work, the architectures? Well, it's very simple. Nothing more than few field controllers that are managing the different technologies inside the plant that are monitored and controlled locally by a bigger brain. That, of course, is the boss of the plant, nomen omen indeed. So all of these local brains connected to a cloud infrastructure that manage the aggregation of all the data and shows them in a user-friendly and simplified way to the end user. We will immediately see which are the services that are offered and which are the target user of such packages. So first of all, the service packages that we offer to the customer starts with the general overviews, high-level overviews of plants that is geo-localized, so you can see all the plants where they are, in which place, based on a map. And also, let me say, there are some cockpits that summarize all the performance of the installed base according to the information you really need. So, and on top of this, there is a layer of customization where you can really shortcut all the portions and all the dashboards that you use more. So really to simplify even more the interaction with the tool. So if we talk about then what are the assets, which are the pillars, I would say, of the platform is, first of all, is of course alarm management. The service cover real-time alarms, notifications, historical logs, analytics. For the overall cockpit, to the real cause issue of the issues, the user is really, by few clicks, immediately realize what happened and plan the maintenance accordingly. So analysis, we can run a lot of analysis, can be run by severity, by priority, or by category of alarms or type of alarms, by keeping the same look and feel and user experience, so you can really easily reach and understand what we are talking about and what's the issues in the field, in one store or in multiple stores, wherever you have in your install base. The second pillar is also a very important pillar because it's the regulation performances, everything related to the performances of the temperature and the regulations of all the assets that you may have in your installation. So the CAREL offer here has the focus to identify immediately the low performances and support the user in improving them. This will be a key element to maximize the efficiency of the cabinets and the preservation of food by consequence. As a side effect, improving also the energy profile of the store. Comparative analysis also here, multi-stores or inside a store, multi-cabinets will help to identify the possible causes of bad performances and act accordingly within field activities or even remotely because of the power of, let me say, the cloud infrastructure and the connectivity. So the third pillar is related to energy. We are energy bills, reducing the energy bills for all of us, also privately, is a hot topic, right? So either in your home or even if you're running a business, you need to minimize the, I would say, wasting money. So here, CAREL offers a lot of analytics that brings evidence of the energy profiles of the plants, of all the technologies insights, and can run benchmarks between different technologies, or even, I would say, geographically by departments, or by zones, or by areas, or even by plants. This, you can imagine, that can generate really virtuous internal competitions that will benefit the overall energy performances of the installed base. Period versus period, normalized views, simplify the understanding of the data, and allows comparisons between different sizes of plants and in different locations worldwide. Another real important pillar is everything related to HACCP standards compliancy. So periodical temperature check is mandatory to be done, and also reporting has to be done and stored. So, and it's a very time-consuming activities, because for any owner of a food store business, it involves people, it involves training, it involves a lot of time. And everything, all of this can be translated to risks and costs. CAREL here offers automatic reporting, either manual, either scheduled, for the entire install base. Imagine checking the temperatures every 2 to 3 hours, every day, in every store, all substituted by a service that do it for you. Massive cost reduction, to not mention avoiding the risk of misbehavior of the operators that are checking the temperatures, and once the temperatures gets constant for a few days, they start maybe signing, let me say, in the reports, the same temperature that was before without checking. So on top of this, we are, CAREL has a strong, let me say, focus in the defrosting, in the defrost cycles, because it's one of the most critical and energy consuming part of the assets in the refrigeration business. For these reasons, it requires, in our opinion, a particular attention. That's why, because wrong defrosting, either too short or either too long, can damage the assets and can cause a real energy draining waste. CAREL services not only create evidence of the performance of the defrost cycle, but are able also to give a clear indication about the causes of such bad performances. But let's talk about later on about this, where there will be, let me say, some slides that will explain the predictive algorithms that CAREL implemented on this. On top of all of the main pillars and of all the features and services we are offering with a digital service platform, so there are, every project, of course, is different. Every customer is different, has his own needs, has his own install base, with all the variability within the different types of buildings and types of installations. That's why CAREL is able also to tailor-made the interface according to the customer request. So it's really like define your KPIs, defines what you have to monitor, and the CAREL will customize the UI around it in order to really bring evidence on the KPIs you really need. If it's not enough, we will also integrate all the technology under the same head. So in order to really unleash the power of the data mining services and of the multiple sites analytics, we are having an approach of a total stores, having light, HVAC, energy loads, refrigeration technologies, all under controls. And on top of the functionalities of the digital service and of the service portfolio, we are also, let me say, believe that an optimized stable temperature controls gives countless benefits with the food retail market. It improves quality and duration of food, increase the efficiency of the system, and reduce the causes of malfunctions of the generation of alarms. All of this obviously translate into a better use of energy by minimizing waste. To obtain these advantages, then CAREL offers its experts to perform a system analysis service to optimize the performances during the entire store life cycles. That means consulting you, using our experts, and analyze, let me say, where and how we can optimize for you all the installed base. And in parallel, also, we are supporting, let me say, with our skills and our experts, also, let me say, the setup of the stores. And setting up, let me say, the entire plants or the multi-plants is really enable you in, let me say, to have a fully optimized and having, let me say, this error-free feeling that, let me say, experts can and CAREL can give it to you. So, we spoke a lot about, let me say, functionalities, services, and features of the services that CAREL can provide. Let's go to understand a little bit how these services can be translated into values for you, into benefits for you. So we just saw the pillars that are, let me say, alarms, that are, let me say, energies, that are regulation performances. But the main biggest, let me say, pillars and the main biggest value for you is the peace of mind feeling. Centralized alarm management, and it's minimize the risk of failures and enable high-speed SLAs combined to systems that highly perform in temperature regulations, improve the quality of the food, conservations, and increase even the lifetime of food itself. All of this is by minimizing and optimizing the energy consumption profile of the plant, by having all the assets optimized to work in a best condition. Reducing, imagine, as we spoke before, reducing all the operational costs and inefficiencies by automatic reports generations, not only on HACCP, but also, let me say, for energies, that enables you also to generate reports for your board, for your, let me say, managers, and show your values also inside your organizations and the value of your work. So, act before failure, right? With the preventive algorithms also on top. So it also gives this feeling of safety and the flexibility and the customizability of the service. Also will help to integrate different plant size, will help to integrate different locations under the same hat, with the same look and feel and with the same UI. It is still not enough? Well, CAREL will also help you through the entire life cycle of the plant, consulting you, supporting you in the commissionings, really to keep for the entire life cycle your installations and your plants, let me say, super optimized. I wanted really to reutilize the slides that you saw before also from Luca, because in this case, single asset services and full plant multi-asset services really unleash and opens for you an entire new world of opportunities for business, because you move from a standard, traditional reactive service approach that unfortunately also includes yelling calls from the customers, overnight call outs, and a lot of stomach aches, right? So to a more proactive approach, by having under control all the installed base, sitting comfortably at your desk, improving massively on top the speed and the efficacy of your daily work, and providing high quality smart customer services. So I also bring here, let me say, some similar slides to what Luca said, because I want to also to highlight the fact that, let me say, IoT is not only descriptive, is not only giving you, let me say, the descriptions and the transparency of the data and the information you have, even though this is anyway really, really important, because transparency is the base in order to understand where the problem is. But valuable services are possible just with an adequate information management. So if we spoke about the 4 layers that Luca said before, so the descriptive, the preventive, and the preventive analytics, the prescriptive analytic, and the proactive analytics that Luca already explained you really well, I want, let me say, to try to let you also understand, let me say, with maybe a simple example, what are, let me say, the different levels of this. Imagine that you have, for example, I want to give you an example with a car. Imagine that you have a car, you know, one of the latest ones with all these cool optionals that you have. So what is the technology, what technologies can give you as a value? So there are some of the cars, imagine you are running in the highway, there is, let me say, starting a queue, and you are really driving fast, but you are a little bit distracted. So these nice cars is showing you in your cockpits let me say, some lines that when you are approach the car in front of you, it's more or less filling these lines more and more, going closer to the car. This is a descriptive layer, and with this descriptive layer is just more or less giving you the evidence that something might happen. Some cars is also start blinking lights, some start let me say, highlighting and in order to let you prevent, let me say, what it might happen. And this is, let me say, the second layer. It's a little bit more intelligent, but I have to say a little bit lazy because it's not suggesting you anything. Well, then it comes, let me say, the smarter car where prescriptive analytics starts and are telling you, hey, please brake. Something might happen, you have to brake. This is really like the artificial intelligence of the car supporting you with a value of telling you you have to do something. And the last layer, the smartest car, is breaking for you, because if you're still distracted, with the proactive analytics and with the proactive layer of the IoTs, is, let me say, overruling your, I would say, distraction by braking, avoiding the crash. So these are more or less, as you can imagine, everything of this is IoT, but the different layers of analytics and different layers of IoT can really generate a totally different value out of it. So coming back to the HVACR applications, the CAREL Red Optimized delivers multi-layer processing digital service platform that starts with comprehensive descriptive analytics. We saw all of them in the previous slides, so I will not bother you again with the same pillars and with the same descriptions. But what I want to stress is the fact that CAREL made a step also into the prescriptive world, with the example that Luca gave you in the HVAC world, but also with the defrost, preventive defrost that I was just mentioning before, but then now we are going to see a little bit more in deep. So the machine learning, right? So Red Optimize is, yes, it's a multi-layer, but at the end, let me say, decided to utilize, let me say, the machine learning techniques and on top of the descriptive analytics in order to unleash the real power of the data collected from the field. So how does it work? This already was said by Luca. It's just the two phases. It's training and calibration and test and results. And it's a loop that optimizes phase after phase and loop after loop the quality of the outcome of the data. So if we go, let me say, in the case study here, so what we developed, it's, let me say, something that was in a supermarket with a showcase manufacturer. And we used the machine learning algorithms to understand the historical data and trends and behaviors of a specific item. And why on the cabinets and why on the defrost? Because at the end, there are studies that are telling that the defrost cycles is counting 15% alone the entire energy consumption in the cases and walking business. So it's assuming that a low performance in the defrost is generating a lot of energy waste. CAREL understood and thought that there is a need of a real focus on this phase of the entire cabinets and walk-ins generation of cold. So CAREL decided then to combine his expertise, the thermodynamic know-how, the best-in-class data mining technologies, and created an advanced machine learning algorithms that is able to provide deep and guided analysis of the overall defrost performances, clear indication of the quality of the installed base, evidence of the quality of the defrost configuration, and then on top of this also the corrective and improvement actions, suggestions to be performed by technicians. So that's why we are in the predictive layer. How does it work? Well, it's an algorithm that is automatically applied by the system under our digital service platform, and to every single defrost performed inside every single cabinet. And it's, let me say, generates two values, two cluster of informations. One, it's the quality of the installations, showing, let me say, if there is, let me say, a wrong positioning of the defrost probe, or if there are some issues in the installations. And on top of this, there is, let me say, the algorithm assign a score on the defrost performances and also generate alerts on what could be the cause of the low scores and of the low, let me say, performances of the defrost. And everything, as you can see by the slides, with really easy pie charts and easy, let me say, bar graphs that is in line with the overall look and feel of the service of the digital Red Optimized platform. So case studies, I mentioned before, was a big showcase manufacturer. So, and the analysis was that we start running, let me say, defrost performances global in the stores where they had their cabinets. And we helped them to identify and focus the attentions on which were the worst stores. Of course, the worst means the best improvements in quality. So, and by, let me say, deeper analyzing, and let me say, applying this algorithm in this course, there was some highlights that were some cold rooms that was not performing equidistant defrost like the others, just at a glance. So just by graphical showing the periodical, let me say, defrost cycles, that was not, let me say, constant on a time based. What was done then afterwards? Well, there was, let me say, analyze the variable trends, there was analyze the regulation performances dashboards, double checking first remotely, and was in order to confirm, let me say, our hypothesis. And of course, performing then consecutive defrost, even if it was not needed. So this was of immediate evidence by the platform we had. So what we did, it's more or less, we understood that there was a major energy waste, and of course there was also a lot of negative influence in the regulation performances, as you can assume, as you can imagine. So in this specific case, by this platform, there was such an easy understanding with a few clicks of the bad configuration and the bad performances of the defrost, that by remotely we just changed some configuration parameters from remote, and that was more or less possible to eliminate all the unnecessary double defrost. And with just the few clicks, as you can see, and as you can of course imagine, by reducing so much the number of defrost cycles, let me say the benefits also on the pockets of the customers was really huge, was definitely huge. If we then have to conclude, right? So, and summarize all the topics that we spoke today. A plant connected, so of course connectivity grants the accessibility from remote. That generates a lot of benefits and efficiency in managing it from an operational point of view, but also from a business point of view, improving speed and reaction time together with the quality of the services. Imagine, especially in the extreme situation like we are now with the virus, right? But also where for any other reasons that inhibits the easy access to the stores. I'm thinking about weather condition, for example. Digital service on top of the connectivity simplify your life. Being an end user or having him as a customer optimize the operational cost for you, and rising also the level of services provided to another level. Imagine how quick can be the reaction time in case of a problem, and even solving it easily from your office desk. Then of course, having proper dashboards that describe the status of the entire installed base is very beneficial, especially if the raw data are already aggregated and shown in an easy and very understandable way for you. But the real power is unleashed when prescriptive strategies are applied. This can really move the service to the next level by really avoiding problems before they happen. So that's all from my side. I want just to leave these slides as a recap, and I invite Luca for the washing machine phase of the Q&A, question and answer from our attendees.
Yes.
So, welcome back, Luca.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation, Gabriele. So we are now trying to get on our screens all the questions that have been put along this presentation by the attendees. But of course, you also could be able to probably interact by applying, you know, just activating the microphone. So I know that most of you can do that. So if you want to make some questions live, please feel free.
Meanwhile, the questions are coming, so I want just I hope that the message also that was passed in this presentation was that, let me say, CAREL is working, let me say, either for a single asset, so from the single device and from the single assets with a package of services, but there is a sort of fil rouge that starts from the single assets, right, Luca?
That's
that
right.
That reach a full plant, but even multi-sites worldwide with same look and feel, same user experience in our services and in our analytics in order really to simplify and also enable people that are not experts to utilize the services and generates value for himself and also demonstrate his values to his in his organization, right? And that's also a very strong and powerful, let me say, side values and benefits that the entire platform is generating. What do you think, Luca?
Absolutely, and another value that we have seen just by going from single asset to full plant control is that we have different users, different stakeholders along the chain, and all of these can detect informations and values that, you know, are able to differentiate their not only their positioning on the market, but let me say the way they bring, you know, their added value to the different customers. So this is why the power of IoT really resides on the way that we can, you know, help our customer to give this information and to cluster this information in order to display them in the best usable way. So I think are there it seems there are no questions, so it means two things. So we were very clear probably. Okay, so thank you for attending this this first roundtable. It was quite an interesting experience also from our side, because it's the first time that we virtually have to interact with people. And but anyway, thank you for your attention, and thank you, Gabriele.
Thank you also for your attentions, and please.
Oh, there's one question. There's one question. We are not able to read.
Very small.
Very small.
Luca, you go.
Sorry, I go. Can CAREL solution interface with other product? Okay, so yes, from a field device point of view, let me say, our gateways. I'm speaking about single asset. Let me say connectivity. Yes, our gateway is a standard Modbus gateway, so it can easily be connected to any device able to speak the specific protocol, and then give this information directly to the cloud. So it's only a matter of creating the proper module, let me say, which is this proper set of variables that you need to, let me say, bring on the cloud. So from the multiple and the plant perspective, I let Gabriele.
I think that the answer is the same. So, yeah. Well, the question is a bit general, right? So there is so many devices in the world and so many technologies in the world that that of course we would have to analyze case by case. But in general, all our services, it's very open and very integrable in different technologies and multiple technologies, either on field, either on supervisor level, either on top of the cloud level. So that is a clear yes, the answer.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriele. The other question is if CAREL solution can predict, sorry, I read it again, machines and controls failures. Yes, we were talking about predictive maintenance earlier. So what we can do is that, what we usually do is that we really make a sort of, let me say, co-working with our customers, because we like to be partner of our customer. Of course, we bring our experience. We already have put in place some algorithms, some machine learning algorithms that are able to understand from the behavior of the unit how the unit should perform, and then so to predict the possibility to, let me say, to detect possible issues. But of course, this is also strictly related to the experience of our customers. That's why time by time, we do interact with them, we bring our experience, but most of the time we create a tailor-made solution, because the know-how of different customers and different stakeholders inside the customers could not be the same. And so the value they need, the value they want to bring could be different. And also from the point of view of preventing failures and issues, it's really related to on how the unit was designed, which were the main, let me say, functions of the unit, which were the main values that the unit was bringing. So in these terms, the experience that we share with our customers, it's very, very important. Hope I answered to the question.
I just go for the next one. So
yeah,
we
okay.
just share
yeah.
the gym. Do you consider to add integrated Bluetooth to CPICO?
Well, this is a nice question, but it's not the right place. I mean, we have a platform manager managers that can answer to this question. But what I can tell is that, of course, embedding technology inside a controller is always the best option if feasible, because it is a matter of also design. It's a matter of space inside the let me say the shelf of the controller. And
let me also maybe that there is also in the Chillventa, I mean, there is also the CAREL area where you can drop, let me say, an email to the expert. So you can utilize the Chillventa, I would say, virtual environment in order to really go specific in your questions and plan, let me say, a call even with the experts on this.
Yeah, yeah. But again, even if we didn't embed the technology so far, so the Bluetooth or even the Wi-Fi inside the controller, we are delivering on the market specific products that are very small and portable gateways that enable the connectivity from RS485 Modbus to Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So with this, you are able to, let me say, transform the CPICO or the PICO in a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth device. But by the moment, it's not an embedded technology. But again, as Gabriele was saying, you can send your inquiries to the specific recipient where we collect this kind of information and topics. So there's another question. Great presentation, thank you. Can you explain a bit how the customer should train the machine learning models? It seems necessary that someone is manually classifying this data. Well, what we need to do, at least with our experience, is that, as I was saying, we are building a real partnership with the customer when it comes to machine learning and topics like this, because the algorithm, the word says that, needs to learn. Okay, so what we need to do is to gather as much information as possible from as many assets as possible, because this is the only way in which, in the most, let me say, affordable way, the algorithm can create the model with which, once it is defined, all units on field can be compared to. So what we do are specific and vertical trials with our customer. We give them the technology to let me say, enable this, the possibility to connect all the units, all the assets, or all the plants, okay, from a hardware point of view, from our hardware perspective. And that we use our algorithms, some of which can even be modified following the specifications of the customer, because there is our experience, as I was saying, but then there is the experience of the customer, which is itself a specialist in the HVAC market. So what we do is a real partnership with the customer in order to detect the best output possible. Hope I answered the question. Another one. Do you offer a way to integrate an existing Remote Pro installation on premises with RED?
Well, yeah, absolutely. So there will be, let me say, also, I would say, an upgrade path that will move from Remote Pro to RED. There will be, let me say, once it will be launched, let me say, there will be all these informations. But for sure, we are taking care about our customers, for sure.
Sorry guys, if we had to stand to read the questions, but the monitor we have in front is a little bit tiny, so we need to approach it. Okay guys, if there are no other questions,
in any case, feel free to contact us. So today, let me say, Luca would be available, right?
Absolutely.
Let me say, for any type of questions. I will be on Thursday for any question you may have on the services. On Wednesday, we have a colleague of us that is very, very well knowledgeable, that is supporting us. So don't worry, whatever questions, when you will digest the presentation of today and you will come up with some questions, you can anytime get in contact with us, also through the Chillventa. Please, thank you very much and stay safe.
Bye-bye, stay safe.
Bye.